In the dead of night, a fire began that would forever scorch one man's name into history. His story is a symphony of murder, madness, and megalomania. Or is it? We know the legend, Nero, the emperor who fiddled while Rome burned, the tyrant who murdered his mother and persecuted Christians. But what if the history we know was written by his enemies? What if one of history's greatest villains was also a populist, an artist, and a reformer caught in a deadly game of power? This is the story of Nero Claudius Caesar, the last of Rome's first dynasty, a boy who inherited the world and the man whose life became a cautionary tale. Was he a monster or a misunderstood emperor reshaped by the bitter pen of history? Let's separate the man from the myth. Journey with us back to the 1st century AD, to the heart of the Roman Empire, and decide for yourself. Nero was born Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus in 37 AD into the brutal heart of Roman royalty. His mother Agrippina was a political mastermind. After engineering her marriage to Emperor Claudius, her son was adopted and placed in line to the throne. In 54 AD, Claudius died. The official story, natural causes, the rumor, poisoned by Agrippina. At just 16, Nero became emperor. His early reign was guided by two capable men, his tutor, the Stoic philosopher Seneca, and the military prefect Burrus. The first 5 years, the Quinquennium Neronis, were hailed as a golden age. Nero promised power back to the Senate, gave gifts to the people, and championed justice. But one figure loomed large, Agrippina. She expected to rule through her son. Nero had other ideas. The conflict between mother and son would trigger a dissent that history would never forget. To judge Nero, we must examine two competing narratives, the case for the tyrant and the case for the misunderstood ruler. We begin with the crimes that earned him infamy. The breaking point. In 59 AD, Nero attempted to kill his mother with a fiendish engineered boat designed to sink. She survived. Nero, in a panic, simply sent soldiers to finish the job. Matricide, the ultimate taboo, was now on his hands. The dam broke. His first wife, the noble Octavia, was exiled and executed. His beloved Poppaea may have died from his violence. Seneca was forced to commit suicide. Then in 64 AD, disaster. The Great Fire of Rome raged for 6 days, destroying 70% of the city. Thousands were homeless. And here the most damning legend, Nero fiddled. He didn't. The violin wasn't invented. But he reportedly sang of the fall of Troy while Rome burned, a shocking display of artistic insensitivity. Worse, he seized the devastated land to build his Domus Aurea, a sprawling, decadent palace complex with a colossal statue of himself. Needing a scapegoat, Nero blamed the obscure sect of Christians. What followed was unspeakable brutality. Tacitus, a Roman historian, records they were covered in pitch and burned alive as human torches to light his parties, a defining act of cruel persecution. He debased his office, performing on stage as a singer and charioteer, activities seen as disgraceful for the Roman elite. His extravagance bankrupted the state. He devalued currency for the first time in the empire's history and confiscated wealth from the aristocracy. The evidence is overwhelming. A matricide, a persecutor, a narcissist who plundered his own people for personal glory. This is the Nero that passed into legend. But history is rarely so black and white. To understand Nero, we must examine his context and the bias of our sources. Almost everything we know comes from 3 historians, Tacitus, Suetonius, and Cassius Dio. All wrote decades after his death. They were members of the senatorial class, the very aristocracy Nero alienated and taxed. Their accounts are inherently hostile. After his fall, the Senate condemned his memory, damnatio memoriae. His statues were torn down, his name erased. The winners wrote this history. And here's the twist. While the aristocracy hated him, evidence suggests he was wildly popular with the Roman plebs, the common people. He built new public markets, distributed lavish gifts and cash, and championed spectacular games. He was a populist. He planned massive engineering projects like a canal through the Isthmus of Corinth to improve trade. Visionary, if impractical. He often sided with the little guy against powerful provincial governors, reforming tax collection to curb corruption. After the fire, his new building codes mandated fire-resistant materials, wider streets, and water supply access. This was progressive urban planning. Even the hated Domus Aurea was an architectural marvel, featuring revolutionary designs like a rotating dining room and massive vaults. His shameful performances? In the Greek East, they adored him. He competed in their festivals as an equal, granting them tax freedom and autonomy. He was a Hellenophile. He broke with tradition, issuing coins with more realistic portraiture, a move towards honesty in imperial imagery. Cruel tyrant, or a populist reformer, artist, and Hellenic enthusiast whose modernizing ways provoked a ruthless elite to destroy his legacy? The truth, as always, lies in the murky middle. Nero was likely not the cartoonish monster of legend. He was a product of a vicious, murderous court, raised to absolute power as a teenager. He began with ideals, but was corrupted by the limitless power and paranoia of his position. The murders, especially of his mother, crossed a line from which there was no return. His greatest failure was political. He alienated the military and the Senate, the twin pillars of imperial power. An emperor who loses their support is doomed. In 68 AD, generals revolted. Declared a public enemy by the Senate, abandoned by his guards, Nero fled and with help committed suicide. He was 30 years old. His legacy was physically erased, yet it persisted. His golden house was buried, and the Colosseum was built on its grounds, a populist monument replacing a personal one. For early Christians, he became the archetypal persecutor, a symbol of Roman Antichrist. This cemented his demonic reputation for 2,000 years. Modern archaeology and critical history have forced a reassessment. We now see the economic policies, the populism, the complex person behind the myth. So tyrant or misunderstood? He was both, a capable administrator and a cruel murderer, a patron of the arts and a narcissist, a man who loved Greece and failed at Roman politics. Nero teaches us that history is not about heroes and villains, but about power, perception, and the fragile line between reform and tyranny. He was the last of Augustus's line, and his chaotic end proved that no dynasty, no matter how glorious, was immune to self-destruction. Loeb, what do you think? Was Nero a monster or a man maligned by history? Let us know in the comments, tyrant or misunderstood. Dive deeper into the chaotic world of the Roman emperors with our playlist on the Julio-Claudian dynasty. If you enjoyed this journey into historical nuance, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next exploration. History is a story we choose to tell, and the most fascinating stories are those written in shades of grey. Thank you for watching.